Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome to this bonus episode, Black Tapes. This is Strand Institute, letter number 3. So this is kind of just a little bonus episode thrown out in the universe. Just, to see how things are going. And I had a little bit of free time, so I figured I'd go ahead and knock this out for y'all.
The Strand Institute received a letter from a Black Tapes podcast listener. This is from Kate W.
These letters are always great. Like I said, I still wonder if the letters are actually from fans writing in character. I think it would be cool. From what I found out when I was doing the Rabbits podcast before we got into the novels, was that you did have stuff like that from the fans. So I just wonder if this is a fan, a kind of a fan thing too.
Dear Dr. Strand, when I was 11 years old, my parents and I moved into an old farmhouse in Fairfield, Iowa.
Ooh, Iowa. I mean, the only thing whiter than only thing whiter than Iowa is the polar ice caps. So yeah, this is going to be weird.
Despite being over 60 years old, the house was very well built. My parents were planning
That's the reason why it was very well built. It was over 60 years old.
to slowly renovate the house, room by room, while we lived there. We had been there for about a month when it happened. I awoke in the middle of the night and couldn't breathe. It felt like something heavy was pressing down on my chest that prevented me from sitting up. My voice choked up as I tried to call for my mother. I remember trying to move my arms and legs, but I couldn't. They were frozen in place.
You gotta hate it when it happens. Sleep paralysis will do that.
And then I heard the sounds. It began as a quiet moaning, as if a bunch of people were trapped in a cave. It sounded like it was coming from the bottom of a well, echoing off my bedroom walls.
That's kind of spooky, scary.
But then the sounds escalated to howls. I expected my parents to come running through the doors at any moment to rescue me, but they never came. And that's when I saw it. A procession of shadows.
Well, that's spooky. Yeah, shadows, procession.
They marched slowly across the wall opposite my bed, as if the moonlight through my window were casting them.
Could be. You could have wind and other things going on.
I closed my eyes, trying to convince myself I was dreaming, but when I opened them again, the shadows were still there, and I couldn't scream. It was
Sleep paralysis.
so vivid and frightening that I've never forgotten it. Can you explain what happened that evening?
This is going to be interesting. I love how they write these, because they give you this letter, or at least the last two letters, even this one. They give you a letter with seemingly, some crazy spooky stuff. Then they write it in such a way that the Strand character can come in and explain it. It's kind of interesting.
Is there something wrong with me? Will it happen again? Thank you, Kate W. I forwarded your message to Dr. Strand. He wanted to reply personally.
Dear Kate, what you experienced is quite common. It's called sleep paralysis.
There you go.
It's a condition caused by a momentary disconnect between your brain and your muscles, going into or coming out of REM sleep.
That's so you don't hurt yourself during that period. It's a safety mechanism that our bodies and our brain have built in.
It creates a sensation of dreaming while awake. It usually lasts only about 1 or 2 minutes. It might have felt like an eternity, but just as in dreams, whole episodes that feel like hours only take a few seconds to dream.
Yeah, there's a movie called A Waking Life, which gets into that whole time dilation between the waking world and the sleeping world, and goes into the reliving your life in a matter of seconds while you die, but it feels like the 30 or 50 or 70 years or whatever it is you've lived.
The shadows you saw and the sounds you heard are called hypnopompic hallucinations, which occur while you're trying to come out of REM, or REM sleep. In other words, Kate, there is nothing wrong with you. And if it happens again, try to remind yourself that it's all a figment of your imagination, and that your synapses are firing as they should.
Yes. See, like that's kind of cool. And I know the reason why I'm so familiar with sleep paralysis, I had it happen to me when I was in my early 20s, 22, 23 years old. It was in my apartment, in bed. I was working third shift at the time, working night shift. And so there was a storm, and something had jostled my sleep. And I was coming in it, and I was awake, but I was paralyzed. And it scared the crap out of me. And the thunder and the lightning and stuff outside. I mean, it was very frightening. And it scared me. And I from then my curiosity, and that's one of the reasons why I recognize it is sleep paralysis.
On the next Black Tapes podcast.
He could have been another Tchaikovsky or Rachmaninoff, but he soon fell out of favor with the musical establishment due to some of his more esoteric work.
Oh, cool. We're getting a sneak peek into episode 9, Name That Tune. So this is kind of cool. Didn't expect this.
Could you elaborate?
He developed a whole system of atonal music. It was dissonant, and audiences didn't know what to make of it. Given his philosophical leanings, the church soon leveled charges, intimating that his music contained dark intent.
Kind of like Louie Louie.
Dark intent?
Well, like I mentioned on the phone, we're doing a story on a woman who went missing up around Big Sur. Her name is Coralie Strand.
Uh-oh. We're bringing the wife back in. Oh, that's right. At the end of the last episode, they talked about it. This should be a really, really good episode. Episode 9, I should say.
I feel like you might be losing the skeptic's perspective in this case.
Well, I know what I saw. I said I saw her hair move on its own.
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
I'm not 100% sure if it's real. I don't think. But I'm 100% sure I don't want to die.
I think we're all pretty much, most people, I'd say probably a good 90 some odd percent are really good about not wanting to die.
Thank you so much for listening to the Black Tapes podcast. If you enjoy our show, please rate and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found us. Reviews help keep us on the charts, where people can find us. Also, if you believe you've experienced a paranormal event or have a ghost story of your own to tell us, please contact Dr. Strand at strandinstitute.com. We'll be responding to the best submissions in an upcoming teaser episode. Thanks again for listening to the Black Tapes podcast. I'm Alex Regan. We'll be back again next week.
So, what you need to do is go out and see if that's a real website. So yeah, that see, they did the same thing when they were doing the Rabbits podcast. So it makes you just, writing in character for something like this. That's just awesome. I love this weaving of fiction and reality together. That's just awesome to me. So hope you enjoyed this little bonus episode, and until next time, be a good human, be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?